Hi all, I'm Emily and welcome to my West Midlands garden here in the UK. It's been a hot, dry July with our first moment of rain just a few days ago. The garden has lost its vibrancy and many of the plants are struggling with the constant dry weather. The house plants are doing well though and enjoying their summer holiday outside. The coolest part of the garden probably has the happiest plants as they've avoided the direct sun. I have two bamboos in pots, this one and the one on the other side of the garden. Both have turned yellow. I've checked their soil and they're not that dry, so maybe it's lack of nutrients or just the end of their lives as they're both the same age. I have no idea really, but I'll give them a chop and see if new leaves appear. The hydrangeas are struggling the most. I've never seen hydrangeas as bad as mine. To be honest, they've never looked good in this garden. They're in ericaceous soil, they're mulched, and if I do water some of the plants, I always water these, but they still look terrible, and I don't know why. But my main focus is making sure the anemones are kept alive and well, as they will carry the flowers for the next season. I haven't watered the garden a lot to be fair, so it's not surprising to see many plants drying out. The astilbes are crisping up. But the crocosmia are doing well. My poor birch tree is still not looking good. I just hope it doesn't die. I've tidied up this back bit. I made a bench where I can sit and avoid the heat, and I've added some bark to help retain moisture around the plants as they were drying out. This back bit isn't looking its best, but the trees have put on some good growth. The brambles from both neighbours have been a pain actually. I've cut down one side. I've just got to tackle the ones coming from behind the shed. The crocosmia had put on a great show and their red flowers really went well with the purple ones of this hebe, but they didn't last long at all, probably because of the heat, so that's a shame. Back here my berries are all gone. My red currants were looking so lovely. I came out one morning to pick them and they had all disappeared overnight. Not one was left. I immediately harvested all my black currants and had those, but I was so disappointed not to get the red ones. Some more bees have moved into this bug hotel. I think they were the leaf cutter bees because they did seal the gaps with leaves. And I still have no idea what is used in this larger part, but there has been more debris added to it, so I'll have to look that up. I have a house plant here that I had repotted as it had outgrown the original pot. I'm just keeping it in the shade, but the purple goes well with my purple and red theme at the moment. The ants had used my cherry tree to harvest aphids and they've left all these curled up leaves. I had ordered some Rebecca's online, and in one of my first videos you can see me potting them up in the bath, and they looked different at the time, and now that they've flowered I can see that they're slightly different. They're all supposed to be Cherokee Sunset, and one of them I liked, and the other two I didn't quite like when they first flowered because they were like a yellowy orange, but over the past few weeks they've darkened and I prefer them a lot more now. So I was going to get rid of them, but I am going to keep them now. I am really pleased with this hollyhock. I wasn't sure what colour it was going to be, but it turned out to be a colour that really fits with the scheme. I actually bought a few. The other ones turned out to be white, and this one, yep, was in the right place. And it also goes well with this sunflower that I got from my brother. I need to rethink this whole pond area. The crocosmia has to just go. It's from my childhood garden, so I've kept it for sentimental values, but it's been too much of a thug. Every year it causes me issues, and I don't know what type it is, but it's just so hard to control, so it's going to go. This bee hotel has had some new guests, which I'm happy to see. My cucumber is growing up this arch, it's growing cucumbers, but they're not surviving. I usually feed all my fruit and plants every week, but this year I wanted to see if that was actually necessary, so I cut out the feed this year just as an experiment, and it's unsurprising to hear that that didn't work. So I need to actually go back to feeding everything now more regularly. My newest border looks better from afar than close up. I've added some purple foliage and a dash of red with some of the annuals, but on closer inspections you can see that the plants aren't doing very well. But that's just the reality of the gardening, especially with the weather that we've been having. I changed this section at the front here. Behind my euphorbia I've put a cornice that I actually moved from my newer border. It wasn't doing too well there, but now it seems to be doing a bit better and it's sending up some new shoots. I had a verbena at the back that I moved here to the front. It's got very delicate little flowers, so I moved them to the front so that you can see them better. And I moved the orange erysimum forward a bit so that I can add in this purple euphorbia. My sanguisorba has come up with their purple heads, which is great considering all the alliums have now gone over. I've been enjoying the plums off this tree. I only ate about 6 of them, but their yellow juicy fruit was just absolutely delicious. I just love them, and I was so excited to eat the 5 remaining ones, and I was checking on them every day to see if they were ripe, and then one day they were all gone. So I assumed it was the squirrels, but I can't really blame them with this heat. I'm not going to be one that fights off the wildlife. I'm just hoping that in time the tree will produce enough plums for me and the animals to have their fill. This month the garden has been filled with butterflies and bees, especially when the sun's out really bright. That's when all the butterflies come out. They've had so many plants to get their nectar from, but now the sources are starting to deplete. The lavender is the main source now. They've still got the salvias, the buddleia, and the geraniums, but they mainly go for the lavender. I removed a hebe here, and I'm just keeping it hydrated on the patio so that it can be moved to the front garden. And I've just replaced it with a few flowers for now. I did take out my magnificent poppy as it was just too big, and it was shading out my heleniums, and heleniums are one of my favourite flowers, so you know, I'm willing to sacrifice other flowers for them. But they weren't growing very well, but they've recovered from the lack of light now, and they've put on some growth over the past few weeks. The rosemary has been so happy in this weather, but the clematis has not. I've cut back a lot of the plants around here now. The sedums here and the Rebecca's are coming up, and the coreopsis I had cut down, and they're ready for a second flush of flowers. Now my roses in the front garden are flowering abundantly, and I don't even water my front garden at all, though it does only get the morning sun, so the plants are doing so much better there. This rose here is trying its best to keep flowering, so it's doing a good job. I'm pleased that it's got 1 or 2 flowers still. My Deutscher has had the chop. It grows a lot in just one season, so I've cut out a lot of that. And I need to do a bit of deadheading on my buddleia to keep the flowers coming. Oh, and the grass. I would love to cut this grass down now, but there were some caterpillars of the cinnabar moth in there a few weeks ago, and they were chomping away at this yellow weed, ragwort I believe it is, and then they just ate all the ragwort. And then I saw some actually in the grass, so I just thought, okay, I'll keep it a couple of weeks before I cut this down. And then the grass started creaking and croaking, so I guess there's some other insects that have moved into there. So I'm going to leave it a couple more weeks again, and then I'm just going to cut it down. And that's that. I would love a week or so of rain now. One to cool me down, but also to give my plants a rest and refresh. But when I think about how other people are suffering with the effects of their country's heat. I'm just grateful that all I have to do is try and keep my plants alive. They might not look good, but as long as they survive till next year, that's the main thing. But that's it for now. Thank you for watching, subscribing, commenting, giving advice. I really appreciate it. I love seeing real gardens. I learn a lot from them, and so I hope that seeing my successes and also all my failures is helpful to you as well. So I'll be back, God willing, in August to show what has happened over the coming weeks. In the meantime, take care, keep cool, and no matter what comes your way, try to find something to enjoy each day. Till next time.